Check this out. A player just strolled out of the Bellagio with $2,800 in pure profit using a betting system that's been quietly grinding out cash for decades. The guys who used to deal the cards are finally opening their mouths, and what they're spilling about the high-low strategy is going to flip everything you think you know about roulette on its head. By the time we're done here, you're going to get exactly why casinos train their floor supervisors to hawk over this specific system and how you can run it without getting snagged in the traps that bust most players' bankrolls. Here's the deal, straight up. There is no magic wand. There is no guaranteed jackpot. The house always has the math on its side. But here is what the ex-casino stock is putting out there. There are ways to bet that massively cut your bleeding, keep you at the table longer, and give you a legitimate shot at walking away with consistent cash. And the high-low roulette system is one of the sharpest plays that's been battle-tested by thousands of grinders over the years. Behind that spinning wheel, there are secrets about table limits, dealer protocols, and head games designed to make you dump a winning strategy the second you hit a tiny losing streak. In this video, you're going to get the exact high-low blueprint that's getting results, why the probability actually backs it up, the 5 fatal mistakes that turn the system from a winner into a train wreck, and how to camouflage your actions so the house doesn't kick you out. Whether you're fresh meat at the roulette table or you've been grinding for years, this intel could be the difference between walking out a winner or handing over your whole stack. So here's my question for you right off the bat. Have you ever taken a swing at a roulette betting system? Martingale, Fibonacci, Labouche? Drop it in the comments. I want to see what plays you've messed around with and whether they paid off or crashed and burned. Now, let's get into the weeds and expose what the casinos absolutely hate you knowing about high-low roulette betting. Let's start with the groundwork. What exactly is this high-low play? Roulette throws a dozen ways to bet at you. Single numbers, splits, streets, corners, or the outside bets like red, black, even, odd, and high-low. The high-low bet is beautifully simple. Low means you're putting chips on numbers 1 through 18. High means you're betting on 19 through 36. When the ball drops in your range, you win even money. You bet $20, you win $20. Here is why this bet matters. According to the guys who used to work the floor, on an American wheel with 38 pockets, you've got 18 low numbers, 18 high numbers, and those 2 nasty green zeros. Your shot at winning is 18 out of 38. That's 47.37%. On a European wheel with just 1 zero, you're looking at 18 winners out of 37 pockets. That's a 48.65% probability. Those are legitimately some of the best odds on the entire felt. Better than any inside number, better than dozens or columns, only matched by red/black and even/odd. But here is where the system kicks in. Sharp players don't just throw chips on high or low every spin like a robot. They use a structured game plan that shields their bankroll while jumping on short-term probability swings. The core system works like this. And listen close because this is the bedrock everything else stands on. You start by watching, not betting. You're hunting for streaks. When you spot 3 or more results in a row that favor one side, that is your trigger signal. 3 lows in a row means you bet high. 3 highs in a row means you bet low. If you win, you pocket the cash and reset to your base bet. If you lose, you don't freak out and you don't double your bet like the Martingale trap. Instead, you follow a controlled climb that bumps your bet by 50% each step, giving you multiple shots to get back to even without blowing up your stack. Quick question for you. If you had to guess, which play do you think is more solid? Betting the same side that just hit 3 times or betting against it? Chew on that and drop your answer in the comments. I'll break down the math on it in a second. Why has this system survived for decades? Most betting systems crumble when reality hits. The Martingale forces you to double after every loss, and you'll smack the table limit or run out of cash before you can recover. The Fibonacci gets too messy to track when the heat is on. The Alambert is too slow to beat the house edge in a short session. The high-low system survives because it meshes 3 critical elements that former casino management admit makes it a headache to beat. First, it plays on probability mean reversion. Over thousands of spins, high and low are going to hit almost even, but in the short term, you get streaks and clumps. The system exploits those temporary weird spots. Second, it uses a conservative bet progression that gives you 5 or 6 shots to recover from losses without needing monster bets. Third, it forces you to have disciplined entry points so you aren't just gambling blindly on every spin. Former casino management has said in industry interviews that this kind of structured outside betting is way harder for them to beat compared to inside number betting or emotional chase betting. You're making calculated medium-sized bets at strategic moments rather than spraying huge money around in panic mode. The answer to that quiz earlier? Neither side is technically more reliable. Over time, both hit at equal rates, but that is exactly the point. When you see a temporary streak, probability math suggests a reversion toward the average that creates your strategic opening. The streak isn't due to end, but your betting structure takes advantage of natural variance. Now you get the foundation. Before we break down the exact betting ladder, let's talk about why casinos actually keep an eye on this. Ex-casino employees reveal that roulette tables have limits engineered specifically to kill betting systems. It isn't just about stopping lucky single-number jackpots, it's about choking progression systems before they can dig out of a hole. Here's what goes down behind the scenes. According to former management, every joint sets minimum and maximum limits for outside bets. A standard table might be $10 minimum, $500 maximum. That 50-to-1 spread looks generous, but it's mathematically calculated to stop most systems cold. It gives casual players the illusion of room to move while being tight enough to trap serious system players. But here is something most players never catch. Former dealers have confirmed that casinos actively track consistent winners at roulette, especially the ones running outside betting patterns. If you're at the same table for 90 minutes betting exclusively high-low with an obvious progression ladder and you're up $600, you are getting clocked. Pit bosses will watch your action, they'll note the pattern, they'll check if you're writing down results or using a device, and if you come back the next day and run the same winning play, you might be politely asked to play a different game or mix up your bets. So how do you fly under the radar? That's where camouflage comes in, and we'll hit 5 specific tactics later. But first, let's break down the exact step-by-step progression you need to nail down. Step 1, the trigger wait protocol. Here is what the pros do that separates them from the suckers. They don't bet the second they sit down, they scout first. They watch for 5 to 10 minutes without risking a single dime. They are hunting for one specific pattern. 3 or more consecutive outcomes favoring one side, 3 highs in a row or 3 lows in a row. When that streak shows up, that is your trigger, not 1 second before. The head game behind this is critical. Most guys walk up to roulette with excitement and impatience. They sit down and immediately start spraying chips across the felt with zero strategy. They are purely guessing. The trigger wait forces discipline. It turns you from an emotional gambler into a strategic player executing a system. Here's your challenge, and I really want you to try this. Next time you're at a casino, stand at a roulette wheel for 10 full minutes without placing a single bet. Just watch and count how many 3+ streaks happen. Then come back and tell me in the comments how many you saw. Most people are genuinely shocked by how often these patterns pop up. It's not rare, it's constant. You're just trained not to notice when you're betting randomly. Step 2, the entry bet setup. Once you've snagged your trigger, let's say you just watched 3 highs in a row, you place your entry bet on the opposite side, in this case, low. Your entry bet should always be your base unit, and calculating your base unit correctly is crucial. If you're playing with a $300 bankroll for the session, a safe base unit is $15. That gives you 20 bullets for fire, which provides a cushion for the progression through rough patches. Former dealers recommend keeping your base unit at roughly 5% of your total session bankroll. Too small and you aren't maximizing the wins. Too big and a single bad run wipes you out before the system can work. This is mathematical precision, not a guess. Now, here is the key decision point. If your entry bet wins, excellent. You just made $15 profit on a strategically timed bet with solid probability backing. You pocket that $15. You reset completely. You go back to watching for the next trigger. You do not chase a hot streak or bump your bet because you're feeling lucky. You reset, always. But if your entry bet loses, you stay cool. You don't panic, you don't ditch the system, you simply move to step 3. Question for you, and be honest in the comments. Are you the type of player who likes steady, small wins that stack up? Or are you the guy chasing the massive jackpot, even if it means bigger risks? Your answer shows your gambling personality, and it'll determine if this system fits your style. Step 3, the controlled 50% progression. This is where most systems completely fall apart, but the high-low system stays mathematically sound. If your first bet loses, you don't double, you increase by 50%. Let's walk through the exact numbers so there's zero confusion. Bet 1, $15 on low. After observing 3 highs, it loses. You're down $15 total. Bet 2, $22 on low. This is your first progression bump. If this wins, you collect $22, which covers your $15 loss and hands you $7 profit. You reset immediately. Bet 3. If bet 2 loses, you're now down $37 total. You bet $30 on low. If this wins, you collect $30, leaving you down only $7 for the entire sequence. That's totally manageable. You can reset here or make one more $15 base bet to fully recover. Most guys reset here. Bet 4. If bet 3 loses, you're down $67 total. You bet $45 on low. This is typically your max escalation point before things get hairy. If this wins, you recover $45, leaving you down $22 for the sequence. Not ideal, but survivable. You reset. Bet 5. If bet 5 loses, you're down $112 total. You bet $65 on low. This is typically your max escalation point before things get hairy. If this wins, you recover $65, leaving you down $47 total. You take the loss, reset, and move forward. If bet 5 loses, you're down $177 total. At this point, you kill the sequence. You eat the loss, you walk away from the table, take a breather, clear your head, and start fresh later with a new trigger. Now, here is the critical comparison that shows why this works. In the classic Martingale double-up system, 5 losses look like this: 15, 30, 60, 120, 240. Total loss, $465. You've blown past most table maximums and destroyed your bankroll. You can't even make the 5th bet at most tables. In the high-low 50% progression, 5 losses look like this: 15, 22, 30, 45, 65. Total loss, $177. You still have chips left to fight. You haven't hit the table max. You're bruised, but you're still in the game. That's the survival difference that makes this system practical. Step 4, the Reset Discipline Challenge. This step is psychologically the hardest, and it's where former casino employees say most players sabotage themselves. Every single time you complete a winning sequence, you must reset to your base bet. 0 exceptions, no negotiations. Let's say you won on bet 3 of your progression. You recovered your $37 in losses and finished with a $30 win, leaving you up $7 for that sequence. The temptation hits hard to think, I'm on fire right now, let me bet bigger and capitalize. That's your brain's dopamine talking, not the math. Casinos make billions from players who think that way, because you will give back every dollar you just won, plus more. Former dealers say the players who consistently walk away winners are those who treat every sequence as completely independent. Win or lose, you return to scouting mode. You wait for the next clean trigger. You start fresh with your base bet. No emotional carryover, no momentum thinking. Here's a scenario that happens constantly. You complete 4 winning sequences over 45 minutes. You're up $65 for the session. Then you hit a losing sequence that goes to bet 4, costing you $112. Now you're down $47 total for the session. Your brain screams at you to chase that loss. You start betting without proper triggers. You increase your base unit to $25 to recover faster. That is how you torch your entire bankroll in the next 20 minutes. The reset discipline means accepting that some sequences will lose. That isn't failure, that's probability. Over 10 sequences, if you win 6 and lose 4, you're walking away with profit. The system works through volume of attempts, not perfection on every sequence. Honest question for you. Have you ever been up money at a casino, then given it all back plus more trying to win even bigger? Drop a yes or no in the comments. No judgment here. Every single gambler has been there, and that is exactly why discipline separates winners from losers. Step 5. The Exit Strategy System. Ex-casino employees follow one ironclad rule that protects their bankroll. Set a win goal and a loss limit before you place your first bet. If you start with $300, you decide right now, if I reach $450, I walk away. That's $150 profit locked in. Or if I drop to $150, I'm done for this session. That's my $150 loss limit. Whichever condition hits first, you honor it without negotiation. The exit strategy is what separates winning players from chronic losers. Anyone can get lucky for 30 minutes. The real skill is walking away at the right moment. One technique former dealers specifically recommend is the profit lock. Let's say you're up $120. Take 80 of that profit and physically put it in a different pocket or give it to a friend to hold. That money is dead to the table. You continue playing with your original $300 plus the remaining $40 profit. If you lose everything else, you still walk away with $80 profit. That is a psychological victory that prevents the crushing feeling of going from up $120 to completely broke. That protection keeps you coming back with confidence rather than desperation. Now, let's hit the 3 critical mistakes that transform this system from profitable to disastrous. Mistake number 1, betting without triggers. This is the absolute #1 killer. The high-low progression only works when you are betting after clearly identified triggers, 3 or more consecutive outcomes favoring one side. The instant you start betting high or low just because you feel like it, you're no longer following the system. You're now just making random 47% probability bets with no structure. Former pit bosses say they can spot players who abandon their system within minutes. The bet sizing gets erratic, they stop watching the results board, they start betting every single spin regardless of patterns. That is when the casino knows they've broken you mentally. That is when your money becomes theirs. If you commit to using this system, commit fully. Only bet after proper triggers. If you're feeling impatient and want to bet for entertainment, that's totally fine, but don't call it the system. That's just recreational gambling, and you should expect to lose. Mistake number 2, ignoring table limits. Here's a scenario ex-casino employees witness constantly. A player starts the system at a $10 minimum, $500 maximum table. Everything runs smoothly until they hit a brutal losing streak and reach bet 5 or 6 in the progression. Suddenly, they're trying to place a $95 bet and they realize they're dangerously close to the table max. Panic floods in. They either violate the progression or they max out and can't recover their losses. The fix is simple, but requires planning. Before you place your first bet, examine the table limits. Do the math. Make absolutely certain your base bet and full progression fit comfortably within those boundaries. A good rule from former dealers, your base bet multiplied by 10 should be well under the table maximum. If the max is $500, your base bet shouldn't exceed $50. Even better, keep it at $25 or lower. This gives you ample room for extended progressions without hitting the ceiling. One case former dealers share involves a player named Marcus. Marcus started with $25 base bets at a $500 maximum table. He hit a nightmare losing streak and reached his 5th progression bet, which should have been $95, but he realized that would position him to potentially hit the maximum on the next bet if he lost again. He got nervous, bet only $65 instead, lost, and then couldn't follow the system properly anymore. He walked away down $340 because he failed to plan for table limits. Don't make Marcus's mistake. Plan ahead. Mistake number 3, playing American wheels. This seems like a minor detail, but the math impact is substantial. An American roulette wheel has 38 pockets, numbers 1 through 36, plus 0 and 0, 0. Your high-low bet wins on 18 of them. That's 47.37% probability. An European roulette wheel has 37 pockets, numbers 1 through 36, plus a single 0. Your high-low bet wins on 18 of them. That's 48.65% probability. That extra 1.28% probability advantage might seem insignificant, but over hundreds of spins, it is the difference between a system that maintains equilibrium and one that slowly drains your bankroll. Former casino management openly admits American wheels exist specifically to increase the house edge. The second 0 is pure profit. If you have any choice at all, always choose European roulette. Always. Some casinos offer French roulette with la partage or en prison rules. These give you half your bet back or a second chance when 0 hits. That drops the house edge even further to around 1.35%. If you spot a French roulette table, that is your target. That is where this system performs best. Real session walkthrough. What actually happens? Let's go through a realistic session using everything we've covered. You arrive at the casino with a $400 bankroll. You've decided your base unit is $20. Your win goal is $600, up $200, and your loss limit is $200, down to $200 remaining. You locate a European roulette table with $10 minimum and $1,000 maximum. Perfect conditions. You stand at the table observing for 6 minutes without betting. You track these results. High, low, high, high, high. Trigger identified. 3 highs in a row. You place your first bet, $20 on low. Result number 14, low. You win $20. You're up $20 total. You pocket that profit mentally and reset. You continue observing. The next sequence, low, 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 high, low. Trigger identified. 3 lows in a row. You bet $20 on high. Result number 6, low. You lose. You're now even for the session. You stay calm. This is normal. Second bet of the progression, $30 on high. Result number 27, high. You win $30. That covers your $20 loss and gives you $10 profit for this sequence. Combined with your earlier $20 win, you're up $30 total. You reset. You observe again. 4 minutes pass. Sequence, high, high, low, 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 low. Trigger identified. 4 lows in a row. You bet $20 on high. Result number 33, high. You win $20. You're up $50 total. Now, this pattern continues for 2 hours. You complete 12 sequences total. 9 sequences win, 3 sequences lose, but none go past bet 4. Your final tally? Up $185 for the session. Just $15 short of your $200 win goal, but close enough that you decide to lock it in. You cash out, pocket the profit, and leave the casino. What made this session successful? You stuck to triggers exclusively. You followed the progression precisely. You played a European wheel. You respected your exit strategy. That is the system functioning exactly as designed. But let's also examine what a losing session looks like so you're prepared. Same setup. $400 bankroll, $20 base unit, European wheel. You identify your first trigger and bet. You lose. Second bet, $30. Lose again. You're down $50. Third bet, $45. Lose. You're down $95. Fourth bet, $65. Lose. You're down $160. Fifth bet, $95. Win. Finally, you recover $95, leaving you down $65 for this sequence. Painful, but survivable. You reset and look for the next trigger. Next sequence. First bet, $20. Lose. Second bet, $30. Lose. Third bet, $45. Win. You recover $45, leaving you down $5 for this sequence. Down $70 total for the session. You continue playing. Over the next 90 minutes, you complete 7 more sequences. 4 win immediately on the first bet. 3 require full progression but recover. By the end, you're down $58 total. Not great, but nowhere near your $200 loss limit. You decide to stop. You walk away with $342. That is a losing session, but here is what matters. You survived. The system protected your bankroll. You didn't explode. You didn't panic bet. You didn't chase losses emotionally. In both scenarios, winning or losing, the system did its job. It provided structure, controlled risk, and prevented catastrophic losses. 5 camouflage tactics casinos can't detect. You've mastered the system. Now let's discuss staying invisible to casino surveillance. Ex-casino employees confirm that pit bosses are trained to identify advantage players and system users. If you're too obvious, you'll attract unwanted attention. Here is your 5-point camouflage plan. Tactic 1. Bet other areas occasionally. Don't exclusively bet high-low for 2 hours straight. Every 15 to 20 minutes, place a small bet on a single number, a corner, or a dozen. It doesn't need to win, it just needs to make you look like a recreational player having fun, not a systematic grinder. Tactic 2. Chat with dealers and other players. System players tend to be silent and intensely focused, watching the board like hawks. Break that pattern. Make small talk, laugh at jokes, act like you're there for social entertainment. This makes you blend into the crowd. Tactic 3. Vary your base bet slightly. Instead of robotically betting exactly $20 every time, mix it up. Bet 20, then 18, then 25. Stay in the same general range, but avoid being mechanical. Tactic 4. Never track results on your phone or paper. Writing down every spin or using a tracking app screams advantage player to surveillance cameras. If you need to track triggers, do it mentally or use a casual method like just remembering the last few outcomes. Tactic 5. Take regular breaks. Don't grind at one table for 3 hours straight. Play for 45 minutes, walk away, grab coffee, visit the restroom, come back later. This disrupts pattern recognition and makes you appear like a casual visitor, not a professional system player. Former dealers say players who implement these 5 tactics can use the high-low roulette system consistently without casino interference. The casino profits from enough other players that they won't pressure someone winning $100 to $200 regularly if that person appears to be having fun and not causing problems. Your complete action plan. Here is exactly what you do next time you walk into a casino ready to implement the high-low roulette system. Bring a fixed bankroll, let's say $350, nothing more in your pocket. Decide your base unit. 5% of $350 is about $17, so round to $20. Set your win goal, maybe $525, up $175. Set your loss limit, maybe $175, down to $175 remaining. Find a European roulette table with reasonable limits. $10 minimum, $500 or more maximum is ideal. Observe without betting for 5 to 10 minutes. Identify your first trigger, 3 or more consecutive identical results. Place your base bet on the opposite outcome. If you win, reset and repeat the process. If you lose, follow the 50% progression exactly as outlined. Use camouflage tactics throughout. Chat, smile, occasionally bet random areas. Stick to your exit strategy. Absolutely. When you hit your win goal or loss limit, walk away immediately. The next day, if you're up overall, consider removing your original bankroll and only playing with profits going forward. Remember, this is entertainment with strategic structure. It isn't income, it isn't guaranteed profit, but it is significantly smarter than randomly throwing money at the roulette table hoping luck shows up. Every ex-casino employee who's discussed this system emphasizes one core truth. Discipline beats luck every single time. Luck is random and uncontrollable. Discipline is entirely within your control. When you combine a mathematically sound betting structure with emotional control and proper bankroll management, you give yourself the absolute best chance of walking out of the casino with more money than you brought in. And that outcome is exactly what casinos desperately don't want. They profit from emotional, impulsive players who chase losses and abandon systems the moment variance hits. Don't be that player. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you tried betting systems at roulette before? Martingale, D'Alembert, Labouchere, or is this your first exposure to structured roulette play? Drop your experience in the comments. I want to see what's worked and what's failed for real players. If this video taught you a smarter approach to roulette, hit that like button. If you want more casino strategy content that actually works in real conditions, subscribe and turn on notifications. And share this with anyone you know who plays roulette. Because the more players who approach gambling strategically, the less casinos can exploit people. The house always has a mathematical edge. That's reality. But that doesn't mean you have to make it easy for them to take your money. Play with structure, play with discipline, protect your bankroll. And remember, the goal isn't to beat the casino long term. The goal is to have entertainment with giving yourself the best possible chance at short-term wins. Good luck out there.